Hello dear students, welcome to the e-classes organized by Purnachandra Higher Secondary School, Raghunathpur, Baripada, Moribhanj. For more information about the college, you can contact the details provided on your screen. Thank you. So my dear students, in our previous video, we have discussed about what is dispersion, and now in our recent topic, we are going to discuss what is optical instrument. So here I have written the topic for today, that is optical instrument. So what is optical instrument? Optical instrument means the devices which are used in order to help us to see things, and those devices are based on the principle of optics. It means the instruments which are based on the science of optics. So today we are going to discuss about optical instruments, the instruments which works on the principle of optics. So there are so many optical instruments, but in our discussion there are only three optical instruments that we are going to discuss. First one is your human eye. What? Human eye. Second one is microscope, and the third one is telescope. Okay, so our study is limited only to the three things, that is human eye, microscope and telescope. So first we are going to discuss what is the science behind human eye. Okay, so let's discuss what is the science of human eye. Okay, so my dear students, let's start human eye. So human eye is an optical instrument that is given by nature in order to see the things to us. The basic property of human eye is what? It helps to see the things. Okay, seeing. It means to see many things. Human eye help us to see. Okay, so let's discuss what is the science behind seeing. Okay, so look at the figure that this is a hard shell. Okay, I have here drawn a human eye. Okay, so this is the figure of a human eye. My dear students, we are not going to discuss all the things about human eye, but we are only going to discuss, or I can say our study is limited only to such things which are based on the science of optics. Okay, so here I have drawn a shape of human eye. So look at, this is the figure of human eye. So all the things inside the human eye are made up of so many things. This is the hard shell. Okay, the outermost line depicts the cell. What? Cell. All the things inside our eye includes the retina, iris, cornea, pupil, eyelids. All the things are included inside the cell. So this is known as cell. Okay, human eye is nearly spherical shape. Okay, what? Human eye is nearly spherical shape. Okay, nearly spherical shape. But my point, human eye is nearly spherical shape. It means the shell is a hard shell. Inside the cell there is so many things. So this is the cell, and for the purpose of seeing we need two things. First one is a lens, second one is a screen. So in our human eye, this is the lens and this is the screen. But my point, this is the lens, this is a convex lens, not equiconvex, but it is a convex lens, and this is a screen. And on the screen there are so many receptors. Okay, or I can say receivers. These pointed are receptors, or I can say these are receivers. these receivers on the screen is known as retina. Okay, what these receivers are known as retina, or I can say receptors. So this is the eye lens. Okay, this convex lens is known as eye lens. My dear student, the size of the human eye is nearly about 2.5 centimeter. It means what? The size of human eye is nearly 2.5 centimeter. Got my point? So this is the distance between lens to the screen, that is 2.5 centimeter. And this lens, okay, this eye lens is attached to ciliary muscles. Okay, so these muscles are contain the eye lens is known as ciliary muscles. So this is the side view of the lens attached to the ciliary muscles. But if I draw the front view, so it will be like this is the lens, or I can say eye lens, and this is the ciliary muscles. Okay, so these are the muscles attached to the lens. Okay, so these muscles are known as ciliary muscles, and it is attached to the eye lens. So this is known as eye lens. So what is the function of the ciliary muscle? Ciliary muscle helps to contract and expand the lens. Human eye lens, or I can say eye lens, is a flexible lens. Remember, eye lens is a flexible lens. It means the size of the lens can be increased or can be decreased. That is gone by, or that is processed by the ciliary muscles. The ciliary muscles helps to contract or expand the eye lens. Remember, eye lens is very flexible convex lens, and the eye lens is also made up of protein. Remember that it is a point that eye lens is made up of some protein chains. Okay, we are not going to discuss about these things. Only we discuss that the lens is attached to the ciliary muscles, and the ciliary muscles helps to contract or expand the eye lens in order to adjust its focal length. Remember that this lens is known as eye lens, and it is very flexible, made up of protein, and the focal length of this lens is nearly equals to 2.5 centimeter. Remember that the focal length is 2.5 centimeter, and if a object is somewhere in front of our eye, then this will be also the image distance, because the distance from the lens and the screen is known as image distance. So this 2.5 centimeter is also the image distance, or I can say V. V is equals to 2.5 centimeter, and also focal length is 2.5 centimeter. So this is about ciliary muscles and eye lens. So my dear students, if this is the side view of ciliary muscles and eye lens, this is the front view. Okay, this is the front view of the eye lens attached to the ciliary muscles. Got my point? Now let's go to other things that are inside our eye. So there is a screen in front of our lens. Look that these dark things. Okay, so there is a screen in front of our lens, eye lens. These screens are known as iris. What? Iris. I-R-I-S. This is known as iris. So what is the function of iris? So my dear students, in your daily life, you saw so many examples that whenever you come from sun to the dark, okay, or sometimes when you out from the dark to the light, then your eye is adjustable to some things, because you cannot see things clearly. If you come from light to dark, okay, then you cannot see things in the dark room clearly. It requires some time in order to adjust. Okay, so this is the function of iris. So what is the function of iris? So this is like a camera. Okay, whenever you are out, so let's understand it with an example. Okay, so for a clear seeing, I need 100 rays coming to my eyes. Okay, I need 100 rays should be come to my eyes in order to see things. But this opening of the lens, okay, this is the lens, and this is a screen on the lens. So the screen should be allowed in order to come 100 rays. But so if the screen should be expand in order to come the 100 rays, if the screen is not going to expand, then the 100 rays should not be come into our eyes. Or if I can say, if 1000 rays are coming, then the eye is very sensitive to much more light, and the screen should be decrease itself in order to come less light. So the function of iris is to control the light entering into our eyes. Okay, the function of iris is to control the rays of light that are coming to our eyes. It works like this. Okay, so it is a function of iris. So, and the color of our eyes, we know the people across the world have so many colors of eyes. Some have brown, some have blue. Okay, so and some have dark colors. So my dear students, the color of the iris determines the color of the eye. Remember, the color of the iris. If the iris is black, then the color of the eye is black. If the color of iris is brown, then the color of the eye will be brown. Got my point? So this is the function of iris. Now let's go to another thing, that is a transparent visible things. Okay, a transparent visible things starting from here to here. Okay, a transparent visible things, okay, is present in front of our iris, known as cornea. What? Known as cornea. It is a transparent thing. Remember, it is a transparent thing. So what is the function of cornea? The function of cornea is to protect our eyes. Okay, so in your car there is a front glass. Okay, so what is the function of front glass? The front glass protect the foreign objects from coming into the car. So similarly, the cornea has the same property. Okay, cornea is a transparent thing that is present in front of our eyes in order to prevent the foreign things to come into our eyes. So this is the basic function of cornea. And another thing, some liquid is also present inside our eyes. So some liquid name vitreous humor and here aqueous humor. Vitreous humor, and here at this point a liquid is present known as aqueous humor. Okay, so these liquids are present, and the liquid helps to, there is some biological function of the liquids. Basically we are going to discuss only the optical use of the human eye. So these liquids are also used as antiseptic for the eyes, and it also refract the eyes, refract the ray of light inside our eyes, and it maintain the spherical shape of the eye. This liquid helps to maintain the spherical shape of the eye. So this is these are the function of the liquid present inside our eyes. Now look, there is a space between iris. Okay, there is a space between the eye, or I can say there is a hole. Okay, so in this figure there is a hole inside our eye lens. that is not a hole, because this is the screen and this is the lens. So there is a gap between the screen. So this screen is known as pupil. But this screen is known as pupil. The light goes inside our eyes through this pupil. Remember that. This is known as pupil. And pupil allows the light. The function of pupil is to allow the light into our eyes. Now, when the ray of light coming from an object inserted into our eyes through the pupil and refract through the lens, then it will refract and it form a image here in the retina, because this is the lens, this is the screen. If a ray of light going like this and after refraction it will form an image on the screen. Here the screen is the retina. Okay, so what happens at the retina? At retina, light energy converts into electrical energy. Remember that when we will discuss the physics of semiconductor, then we will discuss about how light energy can be converted into electrical energy. But here in this case, remember that when light energy incident at the point, or I can say at retina, an electrical sensation happens, and this sensation taken to the human brain through the optic nerve. Okay, at this point a electrical signal is created, and this electrical signal is going forward through the optical nerve into our brain. Remember these things. The function of optic nerve is to carry the signal from the eye to the brain, and from brain to the eye. So this is the basic structure of human eye, and these are the function of every part of human eye. There are hundreds of things inside our human eye, but we are limited to very few things here, because we are going to discuss only the optic science that is related to optics. So now discuss few things related to human eye. So remember few things. First one, accommodation. What? Accommodation. So what is accommodation? Accommodation means to adjust. Okay, what is accommodation? So my dear students, I have already discussed that our eye lens is attached to a ciliary muscles, and the ciliary muscles helps to expand and compress the eye lens. It means our eye lens is attached to a ciliary muscles. Okay, like this. Our lens is attached. This is eye lens, and these are the ciliary muscles. These muscles are attached to the lens. These muscles can compress the lens, and the lens can be like this shape. Okay, when it compress, the lens can become like this, and these are the ciliary muscles. Okay, if the ciliary muscles expands, then it will be like this here. So this is the expand position, and this is the compressed position of human eye. So this expansion or compression is known as accommodation of the eye. Okay, so let's discuss broadly what is accommodation of eye. So ciliary muscles helps to accommodate the eye, and it adjusts the focal length. So I have previously discussed that the focal length is 2.5 centimeter, and the image distance is also 2.5 centimeters. If AF is 2.5 centimeter and B is also 2.5 centimeter, these cannot be changeable. Okay, this focal length and B cannot be changeable. So I have to change only the object distance. The object can be at infinite, can be at a near point. Okay, but the eye lens helps us to accommodate or and form an image of the object at our retina by accommodating itself, or by accommodate itself means by contradict or expand itself. It means if the these are the ciliary muscles, okay, if the ciliary muscles contract each other, then the lens will be like this, and we know that lens maker formula 1 by f equals to mu minus 1 whole into 2 by r. So this is the lens maker formula. If the radius of curvature decreases, then focal length will be decreases. If focal length decreases, the power will be what? Increases. It means the here the lens will have more power. If radius of curvature decreases, focal length will be decreased. If focal length is decreased, the power will be increased. The power is what? The ability of a lens to deviate light. So the lens can deviate a light more, like this. Okay, if the lens has less power, okay, if the lens have less power, this is the normal stage. If the lens has less power, it means if R is more, then focal length will be more and power will be less, so that it will not bend so much like in this condition. If this is 60 degree, then it will be only 30 degree. Okay, so this process or this deviation, this ability of the lens in order to change its power and change its focal length itself is known as accommodation. But accommodation, due to accommodation, we able to see the near objects as well as the objects situated far from our eye. So this is the concept of accommodation. Now let's discuss another thing, that is near point and far point. Okay, what? Near point and far point. Near point and far point. So what is near point and far point? So near point and far point means these are the distances that are from the eye at which we can see the things or object clearly. Okay, so far point or near point is the distance from the eye at which we can clearly see the object. Okay, so the near point, okay, what? The near point. What is near point? You can write near point is the minimum distance, but the minimum distance at which we can see the object clearly is what? 25 centimeter. Remember that for a healthy human, the near point of the eye is 25 centimeter, and this near point is also known as least distance of distinct vision. Remember, least distance of distinct vision. Okay, so this near point is also known as least distance of distinct vision and denoted by the symbol capital D. So D is what? 25 centimeter. Remember, this is near point. And what is far point? What is far point? Far point is the distance at which we can, the maximum distance at which we can see the things clearly. This is far point, and this far point is infinity, because we can see the image of stars, planets, or I can say sun, moon. These are the very far distance from our eye. So this is known as far point. Far point is what? Infinite. So human vision range is from 25 centimeter to infinite. 25 centimeter to infinite. Okay. Remember that the range of human vision is from 25 centimeter to infinite. Okay. So these are few things: accommodation, near point and far point. Now let's discuss another point, that is visual angle. Okay. Visual angle. So what is visual angle? So my dear students, if this marker is separated from my eye to a very large distance, or I can say if this marker is placed at a very far distance from my eyes, then it will be very small. Okay, if the marker is very close to my eyes, then it will be very large. This same thing can be seen very large or very small. Okay, because so now look, this is our eye. Okay, so this is our eye. This is the lens of our eye. This is the lens. Suppose this is the principal axis. Okay, this is what? The principal axis, and this is a object AB. This is the object AB, and we know that this is the optical center C. The AB object AB create an angle at the eye, or I can say the optical center of the eye. This object AB creates an angle, this angle at the optical center C. If this same object AB of same height is going far away from the eye, suppose this is also AB. If I draw an angle to optical center C, then this is the angle. So there is an angle and this is the angle. First, at position 1, the object AB is situated, and now at the same object is situated at position 2. Now tell me which angle is more, the angle subtended by AB at position 1 or the angle subtended by the object AB at position 2. You can clearly say that this angle is greater than this angle. Okay, so these angles are known as visual angles. But these angles are known as visual angles. The image or the object that creates an, or I can say that subtend an angle at the eye is known as visual angle. The angle subtended by the object or the image at the eye is known as visual angle. So this angle, or anywhere you can place an object and find the visual angle. Okay, so this is the concept of visual angle. Now we are going to discuss the last thing, that is angular magnification. Okay, what? Angular magnification. Angular magnification. You have already discussed what is linear magnification. M is equals to magnification equals to size of image divided by size of object, or you can say image distance by object distance. These are the formula. But there is another concept, that is angular magnification. In order to understand a magnification, it is very easy to understand magnification by angular magnification. So let's discuss what is angular magnification. So my dear students, if this is the eye, and this is the eye lens, okay, and this is principal axis. Remember, this is principal axis and this is optical center C. Suppose a object is here at point an object AB is situated here. Now a ray of light, or I can say this object AB. subtended angle at optical center C. So this angle, this is a object AB subtended angle. Okay, this object AB subtend an angle at optical center. Suppose this angle is alpha. But suppose this angle is alpha. This angle alpha is created by the object at the unaided eye. Unaided eye means naked eye. We have no optical instruments used in front of our eyes. This is an unaided eye, or I can say this is a naked eye. So this is an object AB, and the object AB creates an angle alpha at the optical center C at the unaided eye. So now what I have done, I used a glass. Okay, I used a glass, or I can use a microscope in order to see the object AB into a large size. If I use here an optical instrument, that is a microscope, then this AB can be seen like this. This will be AB, A dash, B dash. So now this is alpha. Alpha is what? Alpha is the angle subtended at the unaided eye, or you can say naked eye. Unaided eye, angle subtended at the unaided eye by the object. Okay, this is alpha. Okay, now after seeing this object through a microscope, the object is magnified and a image address beta is formed. Now this is the angle subtended by the image. So this angle is now, this is beta. Okay, so this angle is beta. So what is beta? Note down, beta is what? Angle subtended at the eye. It can be added, okay, because here you use a glass or spectacle or microscope, anything. Angle subtended at the eye by the image. Okay, so this angle is beta and this is alpha. So this is beta is what? Angle subtended by image at the eye, and alpha is what? Angle subtended by the object at the unaided eye. Alpha is the angle by object, beta is the angle by the image. So what is angular magnification? Angular magnification M equals to beta upon alpha. Remember, angular magnification M equals to beta upon alpha. You know the small angle approximation. If the angle is very small, you can write M equals to what? You can write M equals to tan beta upon tan alpha. This is the small angle approximation. M equals to tan beta by tan alpha. You can use this formula or you can use this formula. So in order to use this formula, there is a twist in the formula. What is the twist? So my dear students, now look, if this is the object AB and it subtended an angle alpha at the eye, and after seeing it through a microscope, the image is like this. Okay, this is A dash and this is B dash. So this angle is now, it is beta. This angle is alpha as well as this angle is also beta. It means if alpha is 30 degree, beta here in this case beta is also 30 degree. If I put the value M equals to tan beta by tan alpha or by beta by alpha, 30 degree by 30 degree, it is only 1. So magnification is 1 means what? Same size as the object. Magnification equals to 1. It means what? The size of object equals to size of image. But here the size of object is very less than the size of image. So there is a twist in the formula that you have to virtually remember that you have to take the object and the image at a same location. Remember, in order to find angular magnification, you have to place the object as well as the image at a same location. I am going to write this line. In order to find, note down with me, in order to find, this is an important point, in order to find angular magnification m, the object and image, the object and image should be at same place, should be at same place. Remember this line. You have to find m, that is beta by alpha. In order to find m, you have to place the object and image at a same point. So here how to place the object and image at a same point? So you have to virtually draw the lines, and now this depicts the object. So this is now a double dash b dash is an object and a dash b dash is an image. This is drawn virtually. Remember, this just draw a line like this, and this is the object and this is also the image. Now you can draw like this. Now this is not alpha, this angle is alpha. Okay, now this is beta, and you see that alpha is less than beta. Okay, here this is alpha, this is beta, and alpha is less than beta, so beta is more than alpha. Okay, so now you can find magnification. So you just draw virtually the object, or I can say you can just scroll the object into the image. Virtually draw these lines. Okay, and draw a line like this. This is alpha and this is beta. So m equals to beta upon alpha. The object scrolled to the image. You can also scroll the image to the object. So whatever the process, the value will be same. So this is alpha and this is beta. Remember these things. In order to find angular magnification m, the object and image should be at same place. If they are not in same place, you have to scroll down the object and image. You can take the object into the image or image into the object. There is no problem. You can draw this figure like this. Just scroll like this, and this is the A double dash B. A double dash B is the image. Now draw this angle. So this is object, this is object, this is alpha, and this will be beta. Okay, so the process is same. You can draw the object into the image or image into the object. So this is the concept of angular magnification. So my dear students, in our today discussion, we have discussed what is human eye and the few things associated with human eye. In our next discussion, we will discuss what is a microscope, how it works. For any kind of doubt, ask me on the comment box. Thank you.